Robert Holliday here. I've had a great deal of success in injecting colloidal gold intravenously. So this is just a quick literature review. I've been injecting 2 milliliters, 2 cc's intravenously. I've done it a couple times and I'll do it again today. This is just a short literature review. These are articles that are relevant to it, the toxicity potential. Okay, so in this study it was found that when they gave rats 100 micrograms per kilograms per day for 4 weeks of colloidal gold injected to them, they did not exhibit signs of toxicity. Okay, this other study is similar to it. Again, they're injecting gold nanoparticles. And they used a similar dosage, 90 micrograms per kilogram per day. At least I think it was micrograms per kilograms per day. These rats typically weigh less than a kilogram, so they may have been giving more than the previous article, but it's a very similar amount. And of course they noticed that there's no accumulation of gold, blah blah blah, no observable toxicity. Okay, so we know those doses are safe. This is a 2016 study. The previous one was a 2018 study. Oh yeah, this is a substack of Matt's microscopy. He took nanotech and got it near areas that had been sprayed by colloidal silver, and the nanotech tried to avoid it. That was one of the reasons why I tried colloidal silver in the first injection, but I don't think I'll be trying it in subsequent injections. Okay, this article talks about or references manufacture methods for colloidal gold, and it talks about gold's antimicrobial properties. Basically, it says that gold that has a charge is antimicrobial. So the colloidal gold that's ruby red has a negative charge. The blue colloidal gold, which has bigger particles than the red, but it's a positive charge. And then of course the clear colloidal gold doesn't have any charge. So after reading this article, I felt that it would be safe for me to inject ruby red colloidal gold because it has an antimicrobial charge. And I also felt that I would not need to mix it with colloidal silver as an antiseptic. The colloidal silver was mixed in with it to kill any possible bacteria that were in it, but like I said before, the colloidal silver irritated the injection site, and so I won't be using that anymore. Anybody that wants to search these articles and similar ones should just come to PubMed, type in intravenous gold colloid and hit the search button. There's 183 results if you'd like to read them all. Okay, so back to the first article. Basically what they're saying is it's safe in rats to inject them with 100 micrograms per kilograms per day, and what I was injecting was colloidal gold 25 parts per million. So to convert colloidal gold 25 parts per million to grams per liter, it's equal to 0.024 grams per liter. And then if we convert micrograms to grams, we can see that if I inject myself with the same amount that those rats were injected with, I could inject myself with 0.007 grams per day of gold. Okay? Now 1 liter of a 25 part per million solution has 0.024 grams per liter. So when you look at this, 0.007 grams is roughly about a third of 0.024. So I would be able to inject myself with somewhere between 250 and 350 milliliters of a 25 part per million solution to give me the same amount of gold that was injected in these rats. And of course they had no noticeable systemic toxicity being injected with this amount for what, 4 weeks? Okay, so that just shows you how safe this is. I mean, I was injecting 2 milliliters, and I could have injected more than 250 milliliters, and I would be giving myself the same dose that these rats were given. So So I'm applying a safety factor of well over 100. Okay, so that's that. This is going to be basically the basis for how safe I believe this is. I believe it's very safe for me to inject myself with colloidal gold, especially 2 milliliters. I mean, I could follow this experiment exactly and shoot myself up with 250 milliliters of 25 part per million colloidal gold per day, but I don't feel like doing that, so I take the safe route. Okay. In 2002, I was going to pursue a PhD. I was going to study colloidal silver, actually. And most everything that's been written about it was written about it between 1900 and 1930, when it was commonly used in medicine in the United States and throughout the world. And then it was basically abandoned, and because it's so difficult for me to get a hold of these old medical journal articles, I actually moved to Washington, D.C. for a couple of weeks and dug around in the National Library of Medicine until I accumulated quite a library of articles that talked about the use of colloids and colloidal silver in particular, because I was really interested in it. I was going to pursue a PhD studying it, although I never did. But in any case, in the National Library of Medicine, they don't allow you to dig around with these old documents. They make you fill out a call slip request, or at least it did in 2002 when I was there. And it has your name and everything and the article you want, and they photocopy it, and then you go pay for it and scan this. And anyway, I have between 50 and 75 of these. I just took 9 of them to give you an idea of what the old medical literature says about this stuff. But this is the St. Louis Medical Review, 1906. The first page says colloidal silver was intravenously injected in humans. I've seen 2 recoveries from malignant endocarditis and numerous recoveries from other grave infections as a result of the energetic employment of colloidal silver intravenously, blah, 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 and by rectum. Okay, so this is from the old medical literature. Here's another one. Journal of the American Medical Association, 1913. Injections of colloidal copper to humans. First page. So this was very commonly done. They used to inject humans with these colloids, and it was considered to be fairly safe. The main problem with it is they injected safe metals like gold and silver, and then they also injected dangerous metals like mercury and arsenic. So that really gave the practice a bad name. Also, their colloidal silver solutions were very low quality, oftentimes mixed in with protein, and of course that fostered bacterial growth. Sometimes people were injected with a whole bunch of bacteria and they died from it. I mean, today's colloidal silver solutions are typically perfectly clear and much, much higher quality. Okay, so during the course of the past year, 1912, however, attention was drawn in Germany and France to the fact that experimental tumors of animals are strikingly influenced and in some cases carried by the intravenous injections of colloidal solutions of heavy metals and other compounds, blah, 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 This talks about it. Colloidal copper. But basically, when you inject yourself with a bunch of metals, the immune system goes crazy. It goes absolutely nuts looking for something to kill. So if you have any infectious disease that depends on your immune system and you shoot yourself up with these metals, it can help with the disease because your white blood cells go looking for something to kill, basically. Okay, so it just talks about, amounts injected, etc., etc., etc. Here's another one. This was one of the better ones I found. This medical journal was called Memorias do Instituto Oswaldo Cruz. Let's see. Page 123, colloidal gold is injected intravenously, 1.5 cc's in the rabbit. Page 123, patients given 8 to 10 cc's of a 12% colloidal silver solution injected. That's just a massive, absolutely massive amount. Page 124, colloidal silver gold injected in humans. So let's go for page 123 and 124. This is not copyrighted, by the way, because it's over 70 years old, so I can do this. Page 123, something like this. Herzog and Roscher, 1922, observed a rise in temperature in 2 apritic patients who were given daily injections of 12% colloidal, which is colloidal silver, in large and increasing doses of 8 to 10 cc's. The injections given in the veins, so much that it gave them a high temperature and a fever from this. And these are just massive amounts. I mean, 8 to 10 cc's of a 12% solution. I mean, I'm injecting myself with colloidal gold 25 part per million. And so I'm just doing this to show you how much people were actually injected with. Okay. Gross and O'Connor gave a rabbit 1.5 cc's of suspension of colloidal gold in the vein before the injections. The number of leukocytes was 9,000, which 5,000 were blah, blah, blah. 2 hours after the injections, there was, the rise in the leukocytes of 19,000. Okay, so the white blood cells go crazy. Suddenly there's tons of them in their veins looking for something to kill. Same thing happens when you inject them with something like albumin, just the white of an egg, basically. But of course that's really dangerous because it can be contaminated with bacteria. But anyway, 123 and 124. It's page 124. Diamond, 1913, found a polynuclear leukocytosis, increase in white blood cells in patients treated with injections of colloidal silver and gold. These guys found that the liver of animals having received injections of colloidal silver or gold once autolysis requires a hemolysis inhibiting property very much superior to that of autolyzed normal liver. Okay, here's one where they're injecting colloidal iron as well. Okay, it just talks about, injecting these, intravenous injection, silver colloids, it was intravenous injections of 2 or 3 or 5 cubic centimeters of electroargol, and the colloidal silver of that day would have been much, much more heavily condensed. There would be a lot more silver in it than there is now. What I'm showing is that these amounts they were injected with were massively, massively larger than what I'm injecting myself with. Okay, there's that one. Let's look at this one. Okay, Bristol Medical Journal, 1903, injections of colloidal silver increases white blood cell count, page 338. 337. Yeah, 338. Brenner states that a leukocytosis, which is an increase in white blood cells, established 6 hours after intravenous injection, which attains its blah, blah, blah. Okay. All observers agree that it is rapidly eliminated and no poisonous symptoms ever occur. Well, they must have all been playing with the same type of silver and must have been a higher quality type made back then. Okay, Medical Life, 1930, page 156. A man could withstand intravenous colloidal gold, 1,500 cc's of a 2% solution, if it acts the same in them as it does in a rabbit. So page 156 and 157. And this was a very thick article. This was a huge one. I just photocopied the pages. In the case of colloidal gold, the deep ruby solution in which the gold particles are blue is the most potent. Those are the larger. Yeah, it's a deep ruby solution, but the gold particles are blue. I don't know how that works, but it does. It will be found that if the gold is a true colloid, it can be given in comparatively large doses without toxic effects. Walkerland was unable to determine the toxic dose of oral for the reason that all rabbits survived intravenous doses of 300 milligrams and 400 milligrams per kilo. Assuming the toxicity of colloidal gold being the same for human beings as it is for rabbits, that a man or woman weighing 75 kilos could tolerate the enormous intravenous dose of at least 30 grams or 1500 cc's of a 2% solution of colloidal gold of the nature in which occurs in oral. I guess oral was a brand name for colloidal gold. And it talks about, how to prepare the solutions. Anyway, they're saying, oh, it's super safe to inject in humans. Can't even find a toxic dose in animals. This is one where American Journal of Pathology, guinea pigs were safely injected with 1 cc of a 1% colloidal silver solution, page 382. Just to give you an idea. We found the largest dose which could be safely employed to be 1 cc of a 1% solution. They were injected in their veins. Okay. Now guinea pigs are a lot smaller than humans, so you got to figure if they were doing 1% or 1 cc, if a guinea pig weighs 1 pound and I weigh 150 pounds, I should be able to withstand 150 times that injected into my veins. Okay, so this is the Journal of Urology, 1923, page 41. Rabbits lived if given a 1 cc of 1%, and rabbits are 5 pounds, so if I weigh 150, I should be able to withstand 30 cc's of a 1% solution, and 25 part per million is way, way, way less than 1%. 25 part per million is 0.0025% colloidal gold. So what am I looking for? Page 41? Whoops. I have to switch it around. Oh, I don't know how to switch it. Oh, wait, I do. There we go. Okay. Rabbits inoculated with fatal doses of Staphylococcus aureus did not die if 1 cc of a 1% colloidal silver chloride solution was given intravenously. 15 or 20 hours later, the control rabbits, which received similar infections and were not treated with colloidal silver chloride, died 48 to 72 hours with multiple abscesses of the liver, kidneys, heart, and organs. Okay, so this was done by a bunch of different researchers. In fact, the best research on this that I found was published in the Japanese medical journals from 1930 to 1935, where they would just inject these rabbits, and of course it caused an increase in white blood cell count. Their immune system goes crazy looking for something to kill, and rabbits that were not treated with this died if they were given lethal doses of bacteria injected into them. And I have a bunch of those that were done. That's not the only one. It's just the only one I'm going to put here in this list. Texas State Journal of Medicine, 1906, says colloidal silver was given intravenously. Okay. Texas State Journal of Medicine. Let's see, what does it say? Collar jaw, the subject of this paper, a colloid introduced into the system by injunction, intravenous injection by mouth and by rectum, blah, blah, blah. And it says all those things you can use it for by injecting it. So it was very commonly done, but like I said before, they started injecting dangerous stuff like mercury, killing people. So people need to stick to the safe colloids, which would be gold and silver, especially gold. Okay, page, let's see, what is this? Japanese Journal of Experimental Medicine, 1932, page 460, 466. Rabbits injected with huge amounts of colloidal silver injected intravenously. Rabbit lived after intravenous 10 cc's of a 6,000 part per million. If that was the same in humans, it would allow intravenous injections of 6 liters of 10 part per million colloidal silver. Okay, wow. Okay, they had 0.6% silver, far more than my 0.0025% colloidal gold I'm injecting. Okay, so this rabbit was given 10 cc's of a 6,000 part per million solution. And of course, they only weigh 5 pounds. I weigh 150 pounds. You multiply this by 30 to see what I would probably be able to survive. Okay, so that's the literature review. But like I said, out of all those papers, the most important one, most important one is this one right here, which shows this 2018 study showing injections of 100 micrograms per kilograms per day of colloidal gold was extremely safe and well tolerated because it was done every day for 4 weeks with no signs of toxicity. Again, in humans, that would be equivalent to me injecting myself with 25 part per million colloidal gold, 250 milliliters or 350 milliliters. Since I'm only injecting 2 milliliters, I feel like I'm completely safe doing that. And I will, in fact, go up eventually in my injections of colloidal gold. Let's see, what else? Okay, so colloidal gold, I've found this to be very effective in treating microtech, which has infested all of us. It shouldn't surprise anyone that I'm getting really good results with this, because there's folklore online that talks about colloidal gold damaging nanotech, okay? And Dr. David Nixon of Australia, he has a Substack page. You go to Substack, type in David Nixon. He stated that when he had microtech on his microscope on a slide, he would place the colloidal gold on top of it, and it would eviscerate the nanotech structures. In seemingly, I mean, my interpretation of it seems to be an antimatter-matter reaction. It just gets close to it and just eviscerates it. And so me having success with injecting this stuff into my blood should not surprise anybody, considering the fact that we already have the folklore about it. And David Nixon has noted that when he places a drop of colloidal gold on the microscope slide containing the microtech, it just eviscerates it. So it really should be expected. I think that's about all. Do I have anything else? No, I'm done today. Okay, so disclaimer. This is provided for entertainment purposes only. It could be seen as fiction, but I take it very seriously. I'm not a qualified health professional. Always consult your doctor before doing anything relating to my videos. I will make subsequent videos showing me injecting myself with colloidal gold and discussing the preparations. Thank you.